Best behaviors on level 1 leadership. How to make the most of your position. If you have been leading on level 1 and relying on your position or title to keep things going, are you destined to stay there forever? Absolutely not. All leaders can learn to lead differently and move up the levels of leadership if they are willing to change the way they lead on level 1. How do you make the most of your leadership position while shifting from positional to permissional leadership? By doing three things. Number 1, stop relying on position to push people. There is nothing wrong with having a leadership position. That's the starting place for most leadership. However, there is everything wrong with having a positional mindset. To become an effective leader on level 1, you must stop relying on position to push people. The best leaders don't use their position at all to get things done. They use other skills. To help new leaders learn this lesson, Linda Sasser sometimes asks potential leaders to start leading before receiving a leadership position, just so she can see how they respond and to prepare them to move up the levels of leadership. She described it this way: when I have a person whom I feel is ready to lead, I assign them a challenge that involves sacrifice, courage, and humbleness. I need to make sure before a title is given that this person experiences what it is like to be a leader. The choice to lead needs to be theirs, and I need them to see that it is not always as glamorous as it appears. So I give them responsibility without the title and do not tell others that this person will be leading them. The new leader has to figure out how to improve the performance of his or her teammates without having a title or positional authority. At first, it is very difficult for them. They often come back to me with frustration, asking, how can I tell them what to do when they don't have to follow me? This creates perfect teaching moments. It allows me to question their approach. I say, why are you telling them what to do? A leader finds ways to influence action. Have you asked them how you can help them? Ask them about the challenges they have in their position. Maybe there is a way you can work together as a team and make things more efficient for one another. Form a relationship with this person and show interest in them. Over time, it is so exhilarating to see this process takes place. What amazes me is what happens after I give these new leaders their title. The teammates whom they were leading are usually thrilled when the person receives a leadership position, and their attitude of excitement is felt throughout the department. All this happens because the new leader has begun to learn that leadership is not about the title or having an office. It's about influence and the fact that you can make an impact on others. It's easy to fall back on position to push people, though it is not always effective. Christian Herter, formerly the governor of Massachusetts, learned that the hard way when he was running for a second time of office. One day, after a busy morning of campaigning without any time to stop for lunch, Herter arrived at a church barbecue. He was famished. As he moved down the serving line, he held out his plate to the woman serving chicken. She put one piece on his plate and turned to the next person in line. Excuse me, Governor Hutter said. You mind if I have another piece of chicken? Sorry, said the woman. I'm only supposed to give one piece of chicken to each person. But I'm starved, the governor said. Sorry, only one to a customer, said the woman. The governor was a modest man, but he was also hungry, so he decided to throw a little weight around. Lady, do you know who I am? He said. I am the governor of the state. Do you know who am I? The woman said, I am the lady in charge of the chicken. Now move along, mister. Nobody likes to be bossed around or to have someone else pull rank. Most people respond very poorly to positional leadership. How do you know if you possess a positional approach to leadership? Review the following concepts, which represent a positional mindset. Level 1 leaders think top down. I am over you. Separation. Don't let people get close to you. Image. Fake it till you make it. Strength. Never let them see you sweat. Selfishness. You are here to help me. Power. I determine your future. Intimidation. Do this or else. Rules. The manual says. In contrast, higher level leaders think differently. The following captures how level 2 leaders think. Side by side. Let's work together. Initiation. I'll come to you. Inclusion. What do you think? Cooperation. Together we can win. Servanthood. I am here to help you. Development. I want to add value to you. Encouragement. I believe you can do this. Innovation. Let's think outside the box. Level 2 relies on people skills, not power, to get things done. It treats the individuals being led as people, not mere subordinates. Whistler's law says you never know who is right, but you always know who is in charge. Well, I think Whistler must have known some level 1 leaders. The truth is that if you have to tell people that you are the leader, you are not. If you continue to rely on your position to move people, you may never develop influence with them, and your success will always be limited. If you want to become a better leader, let go of control and start fostering cooperation. Good leaders stop bossing people around and start encouraging them. That is the secret to being a people-oriented leader, because much of leadership is encouragement. Number 2, trade entitlement for movement. Trade entitlement for movement. Political philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli wrote, "It is not the titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. It is not the titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." He understood the nature of leadership and the true weakness of titles. If you want to make the most of your position at level 1 and to honor whatever titles you possess, then do not rely on them to lead others. Don't exercise your rights. Don't become possessive about your perks, and never believe that you deserve your position. Leadership is not right, it's a privilege. It must be continually earned. If you possess any sense of entitlement, that will work against you. If you followed the presidential primaries in 2008, you may have noticed 2 telling examples of how a sense of entitlement can impact leadership. On the Republican side, Rudy Giuliani was the early favorite in the polls, and many people believed he would receive the nomination of his party. He must have made a similar assumption because when the primaries began, he decided not to enter the first few. Instead, he waited until the primary held in Florida. That state had a lot of delegates and he thought he would win it easily and use that momentum to carry him forward and take the nomination for president. What happened? John McCain, who political experts gave a little chance of winning the nomination, worked hard from the beginning and picked up a couple of wins, and the momentum began to shift. By the time the Florida primary came to play, the country was moving toward John McCain and away from Rudy Giuliani. Giuliani's sense of entitlement probably lost him the nomination. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton was the early favorite in the polls, and many people believed she would receive the nomination of her party. Unlike Giuliani, she worked hard from the beginning. However, she seemed to assume that she would have the nomination sworn up by Super Tuesday and did not seem to have a strategy beyond that date. Meanwhile, Barack Obama waged his disciplined campaign, gained incredible momentum, and received the nomination. The rest, as they say, is history. May God bless you, dear friend in Christ, and Solomon Raj. Good leaders don't take anything for granted. They keep working and keep leading. They understand that leadership must be earned and established. They remain dissatisfied in a way because dissatisfaction is a good word definition for motivation. Good leaders strive to keep the people and the organization moving forward towards its vision. They recognize that organizations can sometimes be filled with appointments, but teams can be built only by good leadership. You may have been appointed to a level 1 position, but you will have to lead yourself and others about. You must be willing to give up what is in order to reach for what could be. Let a vision for making a difference lift you and your people above the confines of job descriptions and petty rules. Forget about your leadership rights. Focus on your responsibility to make a difference in the lives of the people you lead. When you receive a position or title, you have not arrived. It's time to start moving and taking others along with you. Number 3, leave your position and move toward your people. People who rely on position often mistakenly believe that it is the responsibility of the people to come to them for what they need and want. Good leaders understand that it is their responsibility to move toward their people. Leaders are initiators. Greek philosopher Socrates said, "Let him that would move the world first move himself." If you want to move up to level 2 in your leadership, you need to get out of your territory. You need to stop being king of the hill. Get down from your high place and find your people. You must move beyond your job description, both in terms of the work you do and the way you interact with your people. You must make it your responsibility to learn who they are, find out what they need, and help them and the team win. In order to do anything new in life, we must be willing to leave our comfort zone. That involves taking risks, which can be frightening. However, each time we leave our comfort zone and conquer new territory, it not only expands our comfort zone but also enlarges us. If you want to grow as a leader, be prepared to be uncomfortable. But know this, the risks are well worth the rewards. May God bless you. Your dear friend in Christ and Solomon Raj.